Back to school season is here, and if you're anything like me, you want to make it feel exciting without spending a fortune. So today I'm showing you how to create a fun and affordable back to school celebration complete with DIY decor, free printable files, and thoughtful teacher gifts, most of which you can make with dollar store items. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney, and this year is extra special for our family because my oldest son, Finn, is starting kindergarten. Ugh, cue the tears. I wanted to make the first day feel super special for him and maybe distract myself just a little. So I pulled together some fun, budget-friendly DIYs and printables to celebrate. Now, whether you're sending your little one off for the first time too, or you're a seasoned pro, or even a teacher, I hope these ideas help you create a joyful moment for your family or your classroom. And as a bonus, every printable and SVG I am using today is available for free over in my free file library over on my blog. All the details on that are linked down below. Now let's start with some fun school supply themed decor, and most of them are made from cheap pool noodles. Gotta love that. These giant school supplies are so fun and easy to make. They make the best backdrop or props for your back to school breakfast or photos. Let's start with these fun pencils. I grabbed pool noodles on sale at Michael's and Target for under $1 each, making them cheaper than the $1.25 at Dollar Tree, so shop smart. I started outside with my Dollar Tree pool noodle cutter and cut down a variety of different lengths of pencils. Now, some of them I made way too long, so I would suggest anywhere from 8 to 14 inches. I sprayed the bottom like 80% with this yellow spray paint by Rust-Oleum, and then I let that dry, flipped it over, and spray painted the top with this pretty pink. I started with the Color Shot spray paint, but I try to get behind this, but it just has a scent that bothers me, so I ended up switching over to just a pink and Rust-Oleum. You can use what you have. If you don't have spray paint in these colors, you can also use acrylic paint or find some pool noodles that are already the color that you need them. Then once they're dry, I brought them inside. I added a little bit of gray cardstock. This is a 1-inch strip. And then I took some craft paper, cut out this squiggly little shape, rolled them into a cone that kind of looks like a snow cone at the bottom, and then I glued it on. Your last step is to add your graphite at the end with a paint marker, and voila, these are done. I made a bunch of these to add throughout my setup, and I love how they turned out. I also made colored pencils and paintbrushes. These are made with just a few tweaks to that pencil idea with the pool noodles and some foam pieces. So for the colored pencils, I saw a tutorial by the blog Oh Yay Studio, and I knew I wanted to make these. You cut them down just like you did with the pool noodles. I ended up doing 8 inches long. I spray painted them in a variety of different colors. I recently made a spray paint shelf, so I understood what colors I had in my garage. I made sure that they were fully coated. I let them dry on my Dollar Tree cooling racks outside, and then I created a similar top but in lighter cardstock and painted the top. Some of them I had exact matches in acrylic paint, some of them I had to mix it up, and then I also used the scrap from the little squiggly thing that I cut out, which is what Oh Yay Studio did in her tutorial. You paint the center part, so then that way you aren't wasting a ton of paper. We are definitely keeping this budget friendly and definitely not wasting here. I'm going to paint those, let them dry, and then cut them into about 1-inch strips. Then you can glue those around the end and then glue your cone onto the top. I made a rainbow array, and I love these. I also am so happy about these because I made some extra ones to go in my craft room because I love how they turned out. And then for paintbrushes and some watercolor paint, I used a pool noodle again, spray painted that blue, and then I used some black pipe cleaners. I ended up taking a chunk of them, lining them up, and kind of bending them to create the look of the end of a paintbrush. I folded up some additional pipe cleaners and kind of shoved them on the inside to make it look nice and full, and I shoved that in the opening of the pool noodle. Finish it off with some duct tape, and then for my little watercolor situation, I had 2 extra pieces of foam board just chilling in my craft room. So I took them, I used some more of that duct tape and put it on the back. Then that way I could fold this up and store it for next year. I cut out some oval shapes. I made a template and then cut these out so that they would fit across my sign, stuck them down with some glue dots, and bada bing bada boom. This is so fun. Now what's kindergarten without crayons? For these big ones, I love these so much. I used mailing tubes from Michael's as well as floral foam cones from Dollar Tree. I was able to make each crayon for under $4, and you could make a full crayon box display if you're feeling extra. What I did is I cut the top off of the floral foam to make the cones a little bit smaller just because they were not the perfect crayon shape, and these fit perfectly into the Michael's mailing tubes. I ended up doing some shorter ones than the tutorials I've seen online just because I thought this would be more like kindergarten size, and these are perfect. They are 2 feet plus the cone. I glued the cone to the top, and then I painted both the cone as well as the top part and the bottom a darker color, so whichever crayon color you're doing, like a dark purple. Then I used some washi tape 2 inches up and 2 inches down from the edge of the mailing tube, and I painted the inner part a lighter color to mimic the crayon like paper outside lining. Then once that all dried, I took some black cardstock. This is 2 inches wide. I ended up using a X-Acto knife, my Ryobi hobby knife, and made a little squiggle to resemble the Crayola lines on the crayons, and then I glued those on. I originally made it a 3-inch strip and I did not like it, so definitely if you don't like something, that's a great part about DIY. You can definitely go back and fix it. Finn was so excited when he saw them, and I was super duper excited to make them for him. So definitely a fan of these, and these might also find a home in my craft room. I also made a smaller display, so if you're not trying to do huge crayons, this is a smaller display made out of, hold on, toilet paper rolls and a cereal box I grabbed from the recycling pile. Let me show you how easy this is to make. It all started with this Astro Bright cardstock that I got in the back to school section at Walmart, but you can use construction paper, whatever you have. And I did 8 toilet paper rolls as well as 1 cereal box. You're going to want the amount of colors that you are making. So I'm making 8 crayons, and for each crayon you're going to want a darker and a lighter of the same color, similar to what we did in the last crayon. So if you're doing a blue crayon, you need a dark blue and a light blue. If you're doing a red crayon, you need a dark red and a light red. Now on the darker color, you're going to need a rectangle 4.5 inches by 5.5 inches. The lighter color is 3.75 by 5.5, and then the dark color is going to be a 3-inch circle. So cut all those out for all of the colors, and then we're going to start by attaching the lighter color, smaller rectangle to the bigger one with some glue dots. Then I tried to hook it to the toilet paper roll with glue dots, but that didn't work, so I ended up using hot glue, and it's going to be about exactly the right size. Also, to make sure it stayed, I added a little bit of clear gift tape, and that just made sure that nothing was going to move on me. Once you've got that hooked down, take your 3-inch circle, cut a slit halfway to the center, roll that up to make a prism, and you're going to add that to the top with some hot glue. Then you're going to grab some black cardstock. I believe I ended up making this about a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to take my hobby knife and make that little squiggle just like I did before. You want this to be 5.5 long, so it's going to wrap around your whole thing. And you're going to need 2 of these, which you're going to cut in half, which will then give you 4 squiggles for your crayons. Attach those with some hot glue or tape, whatever works for you, and then your crayons are done. And now for your crayon box. You're going to take your cereal box, make sure the bottom is reinforced, so I covered it with tape, and then I measured up from the bottom where I wanted that initial curve to be. I ended up marking about 4 inches. I measured using one of my crayons. Then on the sides and the back, I wanted that to be about 6 inches tall, so I measured that and cut this rough shape. Then I used a little pot in my craft room to create the curve that you normally see in the front of a crayon box. I cut that out, and then I used some gold-ish color, like this darker yellow, from that Astro Bright cardstock pack, and I started covering it. I covered the front, folded it over, I covered the sides, I covered the back, and then I also freehanded the triangles and the lines for the front of the box. Then once everything was covered, I could put my crayons in, and I had 1 crayon left over, and that is because I ended up making a 9th crayon, so I've got 8 in the box, 1 on the outside. I love how this looks next to this book. This is the Crayons Making Friends. It's part of the Day the Crayons Quit series, which is so adorable. If you haven't read it, Finn loves these books, and so I thought this would be super adorable. And I love how these turned out. It's also great because it is nearly free. You just need the paper, a couple little adhesive supplies, and then you're good to go. This next one was a last minute ad, but I absolutely am so glad that I added it. It is a large foam board sheet to look like a sheet of paper. Now, I love this for a photo op, backdrop, or even a welcome sign for your breakfast table. You can add your child's name, the year, or your own custom phrase. You can use vinyl like I did, or you can use printables or even hand draw and paint it out. I cut out the hooray for the first day text to be about 3 inches tall to fit within the size lines that I wanted on my paper. And then while those were all cutting out, I used a ruler to make horizontal blue lines on my Dollar Tree foam board. And then I also did one long vertical pink line. Then using some paper transfer tape, this is key so that isn't going to, like the regular transfer tape isn't going to rip that up. I added the words, and then I also cut out these really fun doodles in a variety of heights from both 2 inches all the way up through about 5 inches, and they filled the outside space, and I thought this was so adorable. It turned out so cute, and I can't wait to take photos with Finn with it on the first day. Now for my setup, I also wanted a fun runner for the table, and after thinking about it, I thought a ruler would be a fun idea and fit the theme. So I grabbed this $8 cotton runner at Hobby Lobby in their new like home section right in the center of the store. I designed an SVG to look like a ruler, and then I used my Cricut Smart Iron-On because I already had some on hand, and you can cut really long strips, but you could easily apply it in sections to your runner. Just chunk that out via the SVG that's over in my library. And then I used both my big press as well as my small Cricut Easy Press for the different areas that had raised sides, because there's like a little border around it where it's stitched. That got it all stuck down, and this is the perfect addition to my back to school breakfast setup. It is such a fun touch, and it ties the whole theme together. You could also do a craft paper one, or you could paint on this runner as well if you don't have a Cricut. So lots of options, even if you don't have a cutting machine. Now, speaking of that back to school breakfast, once the decor is ready, it's time to set the scene. So a little breakfast party before school starts is a tradition that I want to start here at our house and continue for both of the boys throughout school, because education is so important, and I just want it to feel so magical to them and not scary because it's new, but I also want to find things that I can reuse year after year to keep the cost down. First thing being this back to school printable banner, and you guessed it, you can grab this for free over in my free file library. It's as easy as print it out, cut it, put holes in it for hanging. I just used a hole punch and string that guy up. It is an easy way to instantly make any space feel festive and decorated, and I layered it with this school supply garland that I grabbed for a couple bucks at Target. The setup, I love it. It looks so cute. If I could just decorate, I would make a great teacher. The teaching part, not so much, but the bulletin boards, I'm your girl. My craft buddies know I also love printable pennants. You can use these as photo props, plate toppers, or you can even wrap up a little breakfast treat or gift and put it in there. You print them, you cut them out, so easy, and then I use hot glue to add them to either wood skewers or rulers for a handle. I haven't done this before, but I thought this would be fun. And I have both the smaller pennants as well as the larger pencil ones in my library, free to download, with all different grade options, preschool through 12th grade. Now, a Whit tip, if you're doing them double-sided like I did here, you're going to print one facing either direction. So you're going to print two, and then add a piece of plain cardstock. I just used what was ever left from cutting them out. I glue dotted it in between and then stuck it together. So then that way you're not going to see the back letters when the light is behind them. It makes for much better pictures. Let's tour this back to school breakfast setup. Let me tell you a little bit more about these other items that I added to just make it look so fun and festive. I mentioned this in my haul video. I found this globe at Michael's, and Finn loves looking at different places around the globe, so I grabbed this for the centerpiece. For the different place settings, this is just a Dollar Tree little dry erase practice write pad. I added a red plate, and then this is a free printable. You just cut it out by hand, you pop it above the red plate, and it looks like a little apple. Such a cute little place setting. I added a ton of fun and festive little colorful elements around on top of my ruler runner. I anchored the table either side with books. The one on this side is on the first day of kindergarten. I also added some of these little present topper squigglies I got at Home Goods. I thought these would last year in and year out. And then I got this cute little bus on Amazon, as well as these Ticonderoga erasers. They came in a pack of 3 and I thought they were just perfect. Then these are also erasers. These came from Dollar Tree. They're the little Crayola topper erasers, and I thought they made such great table scatter, much better than little paper pieces that would be hard to clean up. I stacked that globe on top of 2 books that are just part of my decor. They're wrapped with fabric. I did them in a dupes video. I thought it gave height, but also looked very academic. And then on the other end, I anchored it with that Crayons Making Friends book. I took one of my pennants, put it in the crayon box, and then kind of mirrored it with another bus. And then my little garland is actually from World Market, $7.99, the best rainbow garland I have found for the price. I absolutely love it. And then over on our buffet and floating shelves, I did the Pennant banner, some of the different school supplies, and then I also added some areas for little gifts to kick off the school year. Next up, let's talk about a few practical and sweet ways to celebrate your kiddos and their teachers. First up, ready confetti. I saw this project online, and this printable is such a sweet way to calm first day jitters. The thought is that they put this little bag under their pillow the night before school, and it helps calm the nerves. I took a mixture of cardstock scraps that I had left over from those crayons before, and I cut some easy rectangles as well as some fun shapes on my Cricut, like buses, apples, stars, and crayons. I mixed that all up and I tossed them into a bag. I had these on hand, but you can even use a Ziploc baggie. It doesn't have to be crazy fancy. And I attached the tag. Aren't these adorable? I cannot wait to gift this to Finn, and I've got some extra ones for his friends that are also starting kindergarten as well. I decided to rework the very popular Ready Confetti poem just to make it work better for us, so I will share these tags with you as well. Mine is, tomorrow's a day you've been waiting for. Before you know it, you'll be out the door. With new friends to meet and fun things to do, you'll play, explore, and learn so much new. Your clothes are ready, your backpack too, your classroom is filled with fun things to do. You might feel nervous, and that's okay. You'll get more comfortable every day. Sometimes it's hard to fall asleep with those jitters fluttering down deep. So I've made this magic confetti for you, full of magic to last the whole year through. Slip it under your pillow tonight. We're proud of you and know you'll shine bright. Sleep tight, little star. Tomorrow's the day. Kindergarten is here. Hooray. Now, as a child of 2 educators, I am a huge advocate for celebrating teachers and thanking them for all that they do, because let's face it, it can be a thankless job, and teachers pour in so much of their heart and soul into their students. So something I'm going to be doing this year is a teacher favorite things form. I created 3 different printables, including a more manly one for male teachers, and it covers so much ground really easily. So you can have your child take this form to school, or you could email it to the teacher, and it's going to make gift giving so much more personal. It's got a little note on there, so it's going to tell them what this is for. Not that you're like, trying to be a crazy stalker. Not only is this going to arm you with things that they like, as well as what they don't care for if they've got allergies, but you'll also have intel that's going to help you give a memorable gift that they'll actually use. Because isn't that the goal? If a teacher doesn't use candles, we don't want to gift them a candle because it's not going to get used. We want them to have stuff they're going to use. Everything from their coffee order to their t-shirt size is covered on there, and it's not that you have to use everything on the sheet, but you have it if you ever need it. Then when it comes time to actually give the gift, I love to make notebook paper bags from Dollar Tree gift bags. Just grab a ruler and a pink and blue marker, just like we did on that big sheet of paper earlier. But you're going to make a vertical line in pink, and then you're going to do a bunch of horizontal blue lines. You can make them as spaced out as you want. And then I cut out a cute character from a bulletin board border set that I recently picked up at Target. I shared it in my haul last video, and isn't this so cute? It's so inexpensive, but it's going to make the teacher feel appreciated and that is what we're going for. You can finish it off with one of the printable pennants from earlier for extra credit, and you will totally ace the test. Now, a few videos back, I shared a fun gift idea called Dinner and Dishes. You take some fun paper plates, you add a food gift card and a tag, and it is a super easy gift that looks like you tried super hard. I have a ton of free tags for you over in my library, and I added those plus the gift card with some glue dots, and how fun is this? Such a great gift. I've asked a lot of teachers around me and they said this would make an awesome gift. Speaking of those gift cards, that is always a great way to go if you don't know what to get a teacher. And I have these gift card holders in fun teacher shapes that are super easy to gift. They're perfect for first day teacher gifts as well as great to have all year long. I have both the SVG files as well as the printable templates over in my library, so you can either make them with or without a cutting machine. You cut them out either way in the colors that you want, add your gift card, and the crayons and pencils have a slot for it to go in. And for the crayon box, you can easily gift the gift card with some glue dots or double stick tape to hook it on to the crayon. These are easy to put together, but they're another one that looked like you tried super hard and will make the teachers feel appreciated. And there you have it, a full set of back to school DIYs that are budget friendly, beginner friendly, and so much fun to make. Now, I just have to figure out how I'm going to craft up the courage to drop him off at kindergarten without being a blubbering mess. I think I need to just resolve to the fact that I am going to have a lot of feels, but I'm so proud of him and I can't wait to see where this new adventure takes him. Make sure to grab all the free SVGs and printables that I used today. All the info is linked down below so you can craft right alongside me and make those magical memories with your kids, grandkids, or your class this year. Now, if you end up making any of these, please tag me at Whiskey and Whit on any platform. I love seeing your creations. And if you're not a big social media person, you can also email them to me at hello@whiskeyandwhit.com. Let me know in the comments, do you have any back to school traditions at your house? I would love to hear about them and see if it's something we need to implement at our house as well. Thanks so much for watching, Craft Buddy. And until next time, happy DIYing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!